Hi everyone, my name is Lauren, and today I will be covering objectification of women in media. I'm sorry if it sounds really quiet. I'm still paranoid that my 1-year-old can hear me while she's sleeping. Alright, so let's get started. So women have been seen as objects since way back in the beginning of advertising, right? Their bodies were used to sell cleaning products, alcohol, cars, clothing, cigarettes, etc. Their bodies and appearances have been on display in movies, shows, music videos, ads, and also video games. So, although society has become more aware of this, it's still extremely present in our world today, and it's likely not going anywhere anytime soon. So, according to objectification theory, women are taught at a young age that they are only objects, that their bodies are only meant to be looked at, and then they learn to view themselves based solely on their appearance. So, based on this theory, women experience negative feelings about themselves after being exposed to objectified women, particularly in media. My argument is that women struggle with their body image after being constantly exposed to objectified women in media. Video games serve as a huge source for media entertainment. Women in video games, though, are often hypersexualized. On the other hand, objectified female characters are specifically seen only for their bodies and are not seen or valued for their other attributes. A study found that although female objectification in video games has decreased as a whole, many genres are still packed with these kinds of characters. For example, fighting style games have a ton of objectified female characters. This is most likely due to the demographic of mostly male audience. It seems that the women in those games are likely there to satisfy the male gaze. So, also, women as the primary character has not grown over time. And while that's true, secondary characters are most likely to be played by women, and those are more than often sexualized. So, what does this all mean? Female players make up roughly half of the video game demographic, almost 50%. They are being exposed to either objectified secondary female characters or overly sexualized primary characters. Most women do not want to play objectified female characters. This leaves them with very little options for characters to play or characters that they want to play. A study by Fox found that female players subjected to overly sexualized avatars reported higher levels of self-objectification. Now keep in mind, self-objectification is linked to a slew of horrible things like eating disorders, body dysmorphia, depression, body shame, bad body image. It's safe to say that women feel negatively about themselves, specifically about their bodies, after playing and viewing characters that depict these kinds of ideals, right? And these kinds of ideals will be women in scantily clad clothing, heavy makeup, perfect bone structure, very thin, lighter skin tones, etc. So, why should you care? Women's feelings and experiences are just as valid as their male counterparts. There's a strong link for their negative thoughts about their bodies and witnessing female objectification in media. Particularly in video games, women are represented as objects in scantily clad clothing that oftentimes aren't depicted as the primary character. Game players, particularly male players, should care that those in their communities are experiencing negative outcomes from playing these characters. Why should industry professionals care? almost half of their demographic is being negatively affected by objectified female characters. So it's a huge, a huge percentage. If they made changes to these characters in games, more women might feel the urge to play them. So let's take those fighting games, for example. Those are mostly geared towards men for their male gaze. This could open up and reach the female audience. And as we all know, more players equals more money. So if industry professionals care about increasing their revenues, then maybe they should pay attention to how women feel, especially since, as we've said previously, they do make up a huge portion of the demographic. So in conclusion, women have faced unwanted objectification in media for decades. Could probably say centuries. It's not enough anymore to just be aware of the problem. Being aware might slow down the... Being aware might stop some of the problems, but as we're learning in 2020, it's time to actually make physical changes that will improve the livelihood of young girls and women. It's not enough just to say that you care anymore. It's time to actually show action. So thank you so much for allowing me to present this. And here are my references. I hope you have a happy holidays. Thank you.